welcome back to my YouTube. So I read quite a lot in June, like a shocking amount. I think we've got, hold up 1 second. We're gonna make a pile. We're gonna make a pile. 5, 9, 10, 11. And then we also have an honorable mention, so we have a lot to talk about. Okay, first we have up The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Now, this is a book I've been meaning to read for ages. A good friend of mine actually teaches it to her English class, and I really wanted to understand the hype because it is a massively hyped book for a multitude of reasons. I really think it's one of those books where the emotional weight is what carries the like essence of the story. Dealing with Greek mythology can always be complex, but I think this gave me such a good insight into relationship building and how something can really feel lyrical without sort of feeling overdone. Oh, also 5 stars immediately on my like must read before you die. So I've really been trying to go back and forth with how many new things I'm reading versus how many backlist items I'm getting to and what I want my reading curriculum to look like. That being said, everyone and their friend and then their friend's mother was raving about both If We Were Villains and Secret History for the longest time. So I thought this could be a good month to really educate myself on these. Now, I'm a Shakespeare girly through and through, and so I've heard a lot about that these 2 books are just quintessential sort of modern classics that we need to be looking at and unpacking with a sort of Shakespeare dark academia lens. And so it felt natural to pick them both up in the same month to do a little bit of comparison, because some people have said that there's a bit of lore behind the 2 of them. So I picked up If We Were Villains first by Emil Rio, and then I did The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Don't shoot me, but I think out of the 2 of them, I actually liked If We Were Villains more. Now, that doesn't discredit that I really enjoyed The Secret History, and I can see why it is a cult classic, but there was just something in the friendships that I loved in If We Were Villains. I don't know also if it's just because it's such a treat to fall into like a Shakespeare adjacent world and we really get to get into the mind of the characters, but more so, I think what I enjoyed the most was it being intense and obsessive, and there are moments where I just was sort of gobsmacked, and I think I will think about this book for the rest of my day. Now, I don't love to compare, but in comparison, this is, I think, one of the best examples of dark academia I've ever read. It's beautifully done, and it's just committed to such an epic almost storytelling while being soft and gentle in some ways. I think it's quite immersive, you know, there's an elitist element, it's obsessive and really intellectual while sort of being quietly unsettling. I get it. 5 stars, but for different reasons, very different reasons, 5 stars. Okay, next, something new on the list is May We Feed the King by Rebecca Perry. Now, this is a beautifully atmospheric book. It had me questioning oftentimes what was real and what was not, and I think for that, and considering that it's also a debut, I was enamored. I think I read it in like a day and a bit. Really good writing, because, and we all know I love a little bit of exploration of power, but really good writing, I think, because it allowed you to go on so many thought patterns and unpacked what that power and almost like devotion, hunger, could look like. I also found it to be something that got under my skin, fairly psychological, and just overall I was pleasantly surprised, and I look forward to seeing if this is going to make the Waterstones debut fiction prize. It's on the shortlist at the moment, and it's what made me find it, and I'm really excited to see where Rebecca's writing goes. It was just something that was pleasantly surprising, and I loved. A good 4.5. Woo! A book with lots of emotional depth. Talking at Night by Claire Daverley is something that surprised me. I have been wanting to pick this up for the longest time ever, and you know when a book just sort of sits on your shelf and like stares at you? That's exactly what was going on here. And I think what I enjoyed the most about it is that it was understated, it was moving, and it follows the characters in such a beautifully character-driven way. I also read it really quickly, so I think that tells you something about how consuming it can be. I think I was also just in a good mindset when I read this one, but yeah, I can see why I got all the hype it did a while ago when it came out. And Claire actually has a new book coming out soon that I cannot wait to read, purely because this one was so good and I have high expectations for her writing. I saw this a while ago on the internet, and I've come to have a really good trust in some things and then not so much in others, like people's opinions, because I think we need to be able to be critical in our opinions. And I saw some people really liking this book and some people really hating it, which told me I needed to read it. Now, Ruins by Amy Taylor is bizarre, unhinged, chaotic, all the sort of like weird that I think I love in a book because it makes you think. And what happens in this particular unpacking of a relationship just really made me think. Also, I read it until past my bedtime, and if you know anything about me is that I love my bedtime. So if I'm staying up to read a book, it is insane. And I think that's what I loved about it. It really was insane, in all the sort of good ways. So if you like a weird girl sort of lit, I think this is for you. It was just one of the most surprising books this year, and she will be a 5-star that I will recommend to everyone, and maybe not their mothers, but to everyone. Okay, so next up we have Femme Feral by Sam Beck-Bessinger. Fun, exciting, different, really made me think about femininity and what it means to be a woman. But something I really want to touch on with this particular book is that when I first received it, thank you Jonathan Bull Publishers, it took me back slightly, because when I receive something I look it up, and I had seen quite a few reviews on Goodreads bashing its AI content. Now, I think we need to be really critical when we look at when something includes the use of AI and what it's being included for. And I was really disappointed, I'll be honest, with the reading community in terms of its lack of critical discernment when it came to acknowledging the author's acknowledgement of where AI was used. And I think it just shows that maybe we've lost a little bit of our critical discernment, because to hate this book because of its AI use is silly. Like, did you read what she said? That being said though, I think this was so engaging and conversational, and I love just how it embraced the messy and the complicated and the real like feral parts of who we are. Highly recommend her, 5 stars, and I can't wait to read more of Sam Beck-Bessinger. This next one is slightly controversial because I loved Hamnet, I loved The Marriage Portrait, and mostly I just love Maggie O'Farrell's writing. But unfortunately, Bland just didn't land for me. It was really slow. While the writing was beautiful, I wished at times it would go somewhere. Someone in my book club kept saying that like things were passing through the novel, and I think that's a beautiful way to sort of describe that things were happening, but we were like unsure about them at times. And I think, in all honesty, I just wanted this to be edited slightly. I don't know if I'm insulting a lot of people in the book industry for this, but yeah, for me, land just wasn't it. Okay, next up was actually my first hang. We Do Not Part, and like, can we take a moment for the cover? How beautiful. That aside though, I think there's such distinctive writing here, and it dealt with grief in such a thought-provoking and aching sort of way. I didn't think it was the easiest read at times. It's quite short though, but yeah, just not always the easiest read because it is so heavy and because it really grapples with multiple emotions alongside the character's loss. That I see why it won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and I see also why everyone raves around the writing. I can't wait to read more of Kang's writing, but yeah, at times I found it really heavy, so I would tread cautiously. That being said though, also, and this has been a massive month in terms of 5 stars, I think it's been my most 5-starry month for the year. Yeah, with all of that being said around it being heavy, I think that's what makes this book so beautiful. Be in a good space when you read it, but immaculate, just immaculate. Okay, then next up, something that I've been so excited for. This was actually a gift of mine from my mom for my birthday earlier this year. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab just grabbed me and it held on to me, and for that I'm forever grateful. I think it's a story about love in such a beautiful raw and real and vulnerable way, and Schwab's writing just translates so incredibly. I started it on audio actually, and then moved to the physical because I wanted to like really sit with the writing. But like some of her other writing, I think this was a 5-star, and it will be one of those books that I think about and sort of marinate in for ages. Okay, we're almost done. I was really off my fantasy game for nearly a decade. I think at times I became a little bit of a literary snob, and so my reintroduction into fantasy this year has been a bit of a backlist read in anticipation of some new things coming out. So I first noticed Sarah Parker a little bit ago on TikTok. I saw some of her writing come up, and then when I was able to get my paws on this beautiful cover of When the Moon Hatched, I figured now was the time to read it. I absolutely loved it and cannot wait to read the second one. I think what I enjoyed the most was just sort of like the character's plight. It's quite immersive and has a lot of terminology. I have seen some people say online that the terminology was too much for them. I didn't find that to be the case. I actually thought that did a lot of building into being immersed into the world, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. At times I did go back and just double check if I had the correct understanding of things, but that being said, I get it, I get the hype, and I will be reading number 2. Okay, and then an honorable mention, because this is like the last day of June, I have like a dot left of Bloodbound by Ellis Hunter. Now, I'm a very easily influenced person, and when Amber Lee says I should read a book, I read a book. I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. It's a little bit different, the sort of dueling or dying, the rivals. Yeah, I'll let you know next month how I find it, but this has been a spectacular month of reading. So many beautiful stories that I now fully understand the hype around, and so many authors that I've read the first of that I can't wait to read the second one of. So I'll see you in July. I hope you pick up some of these, and if you do, let me know.